ẹ̀yin oníṣẹ́ oṣù náà ẹ má gbẹ̀yìn ẹ̀yin olókoòwò kéékèèké tẹ́ ẹ nílò ìrànlọ́wọ́ owó ẹ tara ṣàṣà máa bọ̀ ètò káràkátà lórí rédíò àfínjú ni kẹ́ ẹ máa gbọ́ báyìí o lórí ètò yìí ni wọ́n ti máa sọ ìmọ̀ràn fáwọn oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́ àtòníṣẹ́ oṣù ìròyìn látọjú ọjà náà ń bẹ́ẹ̀ láti mọ bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ káàkiri àwọn ọjà wa ìrànlọ́wọ́ owó fáwọn olókoòwò kéékèèké ò ní gbẹ̀yìn lórí ètò káràkátà máa gbìnàyà ní gbogbo ọjọ́ ìṣẹ́gun Tuesday ní déédéé aago 10 sí 11 àárọ̀. ẹ wò ó ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ kágbọ̀n ìtọ́wò ni ẹ fi máa dùn ọbẹ̀. ẹ lọ tẹ̀lé rédíò àfínjú káàkiri àwọn àtẹ ayélujára kẹ́ ẹ lè jẹ mùkúntùn ètò káràkátà. Adédayọ̀ Ọdẹ́rínú ọmọ wọn lẹ́sẹ̀ kò jọmọ ó nù ni ó máa tọ́kùn ètò káràkátà. Ìdàgbàsókè ọrọ̀ ajé ló jẹ wá lógún.
Life no get duplicate.
Na so ẹ̀mí ò láàárọ̀ o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Tẹ́ jẹ́jẹ́ o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o. Make you take am easy.
Na so.
Radio Afinju says if you drink, don't drive. If you drive, don't drink.
Tẹ́ jẹ́jẹ́ o.
Make you take am easy.
Na so.
This awareness is brought to you by Radio Afinju.
Ẹ bá mi pè é o. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Rédíò Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Àfínjú. Lórí WhatsApp Àfínjú. Instagram Àfínjú. Facebook Àfínjú. Lórí X Àfínjú. Lórí YouTube Àfínjú. Lórí TikTok Àfínjú. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Àfínjú. Ẹ bá mi pè é o. Àfínjú. Rédíò Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ 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 Àfínjú. Rédíò Àfínjú. Rédíò
Sọ fún wa nípa okòwò rẹ, kábọ̀ polongo rẹ̀, káyọ̀ gbọ́, kájí ó sì wọgbà rẹ̀. Látòrí ìpolongo lóhùn lásán, ìpolówó aláwòrán, rédíò àfínjú gan-an ni gbogbo ohun tó nílò wà. Ìpolówó ọjà tó yà lára ọ̀tọ̀ pẹ̀lú ìgbélárugẹ okòwò rẹ̀. Kàn sí rédíò àfínjú fún ìgbéjáde orin, music production, àwọn àkàálẹ̀, documentaries, ìpolówó àti ìkéde eléyìíkéyìí o fẹ́ ṣe. Àwọn akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ wa ti wà níkàlẹ̀ láti fi ohùn wọn gbé ọ sáyé. Gbogbo ohun tó o nílò pátá ló wà ní rédíò àfínjú. Báwo lo ṣe fẹ́ sí gan-an? Lónírúurú èdè, òyìnbó, haúsá, ìgbò, yorùbá àti àdàpè òyìnbó, gbogbo rẹ̀ pátá ló wà lọ́dọ̀ wa ní rédíò àfínjú. Fún ìwọ tó fẹ́ ṣe àkàálẹ̀ aláwòrán, àwòrán ara rẹ tàbí tayẹyẹ, dígí la wà fún ọ. Ó yá ìwọ tó ti ṣetán láti fi òwò rẹ sí ọkàn gbogbo àwọn oníbàárà rẹ. Mọ́ dààmú jìnnà mọ́, kàn sí rédíò àfínjú lónìí. Wọ́n wà ní Dàda Estate, Òṣogbo, Ọ̀ṣun State. Ẹ sì lè kàn sí wa bákan náà lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára wa Facebook rédíò àfínjú, X rédíò àfínjú, YouTube rédíò àfínjú. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o, rédíò àfínjú gan-an ní ìlànà ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ tí kò lábàwọ́n.
Good morning, I greet you. How do you do? How was your night? How are the kids? How are your kids? I saw someone posted on social media. He said one child is one child. He said 2 children are 5 children. And then he said 3 children are 8,000 something children with 1 hurricane and 1. If you have kids in the house, I must ask you specially, how are you? How's your mental health? How are you coping? Because, of course, kids can be a handful. So, how are you? Did you wake up on the right side of the bed? Are you doing well? Is your mind okay? Are you good? Just like someone would say, are you good? I greet you. Good morning. My name is Adedayo, Oderinu, and this is Morning Motivation on Radio Afinju. Radio Afinju is on all social media platforms. On Facebook, we live stream there. The name of our page is Radio Afinju. On YouTube Our channel is Radio Afenju. We also live stream to YouTube, so we live stream our video content to both Facebook and YouTube. Radio Afenju is the page on Facebook and the channel on YouTube. Also, we live stream our audio to our website www.afenjufm.com, and you hear us just crystal clear audio, crystal clear. You can practically pick out every note of voice. Okay, this is morning motivation, and what do we do on morning motivation? Well, I must tell you, this is the top of the week episode of morning motivation, which we call the week motivation. Yeah, we call it the week motivation. And so, on this program, what we do is encourage you, motivate you, help you fire yourself up, because of course we cannot fire you up. We just help you fire yourself up. We help you find your mojo. Yeah, we help you find your mojo, so you can face the rest of your week. Of course, we have 3 episodes in a week. I come with the top of the week episode on Monday, which we call the week motivation. Of course, it's a branch of morning motivation, but it's the top of the week episode. And then we have the Wednesday episode, which is the midweek episode, which is morning motivation. And then we have the end of the week episode, which is the Friday episode, which we also call morning motivation. So, on morning motivation, we discuss topical issues that affect your life, and I just give you general advice. So today, what are we going to discuss? We'll discuss principles. Principles. I didn't say your school principal. I said principles. Principles. So what are principles? Why are principles important? How do you deploy principles in your daily life to achieve excellent results? How do you use principles to navigate the bends and the twists and the turns of your life? But first, let us define principles. Principles, by the textbook, by the book, is a rule, a kind of rule, belief, or general idea that guides you. Principle, your principle, is a kind of rule or belief or general idea that guides your life, that guides your behavior, that guides your belief system, that guides your disposition to issues, that guides your interaction with people, that generally guides your life. Now, why are principles important? Why are principles important? You see, principles define your identity as a person. They define your identity. They define who you are. Principles are the ways people define you, behind you, the perception that you draw in the hearts of people when you are not there. Principles define them. Principles specify how people perceive you, the kind of person that people perceive you to be. Principle is projection of self into people's minds. The way you present yourself in the minds and hearts of people is principle. Principle is how people then receive you according to how you presented yourself. Right? Why are principles important again? Principles guide what you are allowed to do in your life and what you are not allowed to do. Principles guide the human beings that you are allowed to mingle with and the human beings that you are not allowed to mingle with. Principles guide the kind of jobs you are supposed to get into and the kind of jobs you are not supposed to get into. Principles guide the kind of relationships you are supposed to keep and the kinds of relationships you are not supposed to keep. Principles guide decisions that you make per second. Per second. Because without principles, man will just continue to roam, will just continue to make decisions, will just continue to flow with the tide while not being unique in any sense. So for some people, the only guiding principle of their life is being fair. Fair. Okay, very recently, I made a comment about someone somewhere. And the comment I made was technically, it was like a recommendation of the person. It was like I was passing a recommendation on that person. And when I got back home, I reflected on what I said and discovered that, okay, I may not have been completely fair to that person. So I went back to the person I was speaking to and I said, hey, I think I may have said the wrong thing. I think what I said is not entirely correct. I said, oh, are you sure? I said, well, I think if there is a 30% chance that I'm not totally correct, then I think my recommendation is not very valid. So we got off it and had to take another decision. Why? Because part of my guiding principles is being fair to everybody. And that is why in every relationship, I would also demand fairness to me. Right? Fairness to me and fairness to other people. So, for some, it is fairness. For some, it is kindness. For some, it is a joyful disposition to every issue. In every situation, they want to see the happiness first. For some, no principle at all. For some, there are things they will just not have any business with. Okay, I have someone whom, even if you want to kill him, he will not spend a kobo that is not his own money. You will kill him first before he touches one kobo that does not belong to him. That's his principle, or rather part of his principles. And so principles guide the kind of things you can do. Principles guide the kind of people you can relate with. Principles guide the kind of jobs that you can get into. Principles define your life. They define you. So why should you get principles? Why should you formulate principles? Number one, you must formulate principles because you need a worldview. You need a pinhole through which you look at the world. You need a perspective to the world. You need a lens to look at the world from. You need a dimension to perceive people from. Right? You need a method of looking at issues. If it is kindness that you want to put first in all of your principles, it would mean that you perceive every issue from the angle of kindness. So you ask yourself, this thing I'm doing, is it kind to all involved? Is it? If it is not, you come off it. So, number one reason to get principles is that you need a lens through which you look at life. Without a lens, you just see in scattered directions. You have no specific point of focus. So, principles are important because you need a lens through which you look at life. That's number one. Number two, because you need to be a person. That's funny, Abi. You need to be a person. A person. What do I mean by being a person? You need to have a character that people can define. You need to have attributes that people can describe you as. I was saying to someone some days ago, I said, I prefer a person who is disliked to a person who is colorless. You know, there are colorless people. They are in the society, but nobody notices them. They are just there. Nothing. They play no part, positive or negative. They do nothing. They are just there. Those ones do not contribute nothing, anything at all, to the cause of progress in society. So, you need principles because you need a character. You need an image. You need to be defined as something. You need to be defined as, this is the kind of person this person is. So you need principles because you need to have a soul. You need to have a soul. You need to have attributes that people can relate with. Number three, reason for which you should have principles, you need to be able to separate the people and relationships and jobs and careers and interactions that are necessary for your life from the ones that are not necessary. For example, if your principle is that success to you means you are able to provide for yourself and for people around you, then you know that everything that pushes you into wickedness that will hurt the other person is not for you. It's not for you. It's not for you. Are we together? So you need a principle to guide your life so that you can know what career, what job, what interaction, what relationships should not be in your journey. Should not be in your journey. I was telling someone, I said, there are things I know for sure that I can never do in my life. The person said, no, never say never. I said, hey, bros. On this subject, I can say never. This one can never be my journey. I am extremely sure. Because I know for a fact that what my assignment is, what my principles are, those things violate those principles. Right? If your principle says give everybody a second chance, allow them prove themselves right or wrong, it means you look at everybody. People are also able to look at you as someone who is accommodating, as someone who is welcoming, as someone who wants to give people a chance. So you need principles to be able to separate your life's wheat from the chaff. Yeah. Number 4, you need principle so that you can be focused. To be focused, you need principles. For example, look at the parable of slow and steady. You know, the rabbit was on this side running a race with the tortoise, and then along the line, the rabbit got distracted, right? And then in the course of the distraction, it branched and left the root and was eating this, sniffing that, and this and that. But the tortoise continued on that journey slowly, steadily, not losing focus, not getting distracted. That is because the tortoise had the goal in sight, had the strength of character, the discipline required to focus on that goal. So you need principles to be able to keep your focus. You need principle. You need principle to keep your vision sharp. You need principles to keep your eyes on the ball. You need principles to keep your eyes on the ball. You need so much to be able to keep your mind fixed on what your goals are for life and for living. So, one more reason you need principles in your life: for your own peace of mind. For your own peace of mind. One more reason you need principles: your own peace of mind. You need principles because you have to have peace of mind. You need to have peace of mind. And how do principles affect your peace of mind? The moment you know this thing is not my business, does not concern me, because it does not align with my principles, you can rest easy knowing that you have no business with that. You have no business. No business. Right? But when you do not have principles, everything that comes along your way takes your attention. So disturbs your peace, distracts you, makes you lose focus. You need peace of mind. In what areas of your life then are principles necessary? The kind of job you can take, you need principles. Yeah. The kind of relationships you can keep, you need principles. In fact, the marriage you can get into, you need principles. There must be an alignment between you and the kind of job you want to take. There must be an alignment of principles between you and that industry. There are industries where the professional ethics are against your own life ethic. I work together against your principles. Someone asked the question, he said, if we find a devout Christian in a brewery contributing to the process of manufacturing beer, would that person make heaven or not? I say it boils down to issues of principle. If your principles say I will have nothing to do with the manufacturing, distribution, and the marketing of beer, then as a devout Christian, or even you may not be a devout Christian, you may just have principles that say no. You decide that kind of job, you are not going to take it. So between you and the nature of the job you want to get into, there must be an alignment of principles. There must be a marriage of sorts between you and the job you are taking. Right? Between you and the job you are taking. So again, you need principles because you need to have peace of mind. So where do you need principles? For a job, there must be an alignment of principles between you and the professional ethics of the industry. For marriage, you need principles because between you and your partner, there must be an alignment of principles. For friendship, you need principles because between you and your friend, there must be an alignment of principles. For mentor-mentee relationships, there must be an alignment of principles because you cannot take lessons from a person whose principles violate your own. And then you ask, at what age are you supposed to have principles? Now, from when you turn 18, you should have guiding principles that guide your life. Yorubas will say, Mofoko mi dana ijokale yanko. Mofoko mi dana yegege principle ni. Yeah. Yorubas, the same Yorubas will say, Nta nigba lolowo ati talika lati ko. Principles. So when should you have them? Now that you are old enough to pick a phone and watch me on Facebook, watch me on YouTube, and listen to me on our website. Now, decide what works for you and what does not work across every strata of human existence. Principles. Define what guides your life and what does not fall into place with your journey. So what do I do when my principles violate, or rather runs contrary to the principles of everybody I like, every people I want to have relationships with? It is either you adjust that principle, maybe it is too unrealistic, or you know that those relationships, no matter how many people are involved, it's not for you. It's not for you. Not for you. Not for you. Not for you. So, it separates principles, separate you from the crowd, separate you from the people you are not supposed to have any business with, separate you from everything you should not have any interaction with. So begin to calibrate your principles now. Begin to calibrate your principles now. This I can do, this I cannot do. I think people have the right to do this. I think people should have the right to do this. I think I will allow people around me to do this. I think I will not allow people around me to do this. Yeah. Define what your principle. I must also remember to mention, principles specify your moral compass. Yeah, it specifies your moral compass, how tight or how loose it is. Principles guide that moral compass. They help you put checks and balances in your journey so that you are not stepping into what you said you are never going to do, and you are not stepping away from the things you said you are going to keep doing. So principles also help you guide your moral compass. They guide you to take the right decisions, to focus on what is important, to ignore those things that are not, to be able to separate your life into the necessary and the unnecessary. Did you get that? So, what are principles again? Principles are beliefs, general ideas, or decisions that guide your life, right? That guide your life, and they must run across all segments of your life. So it's a rule, it's a belief, some ideas that guide you. For some, it is kindness first, like I told you. For some, it is the feeling of self-elevation. I'm bigger than everybody, and that's the thought that they carry into every conversation. So decide what principles work for you and what principles do not work for you. And now when you have decided all of that, commit to them, strictly live by those principles, make sense of your own life as you approach the future with those principles, and do not be scared, do not be shy to strictly follow what your principles are. I want to wish you the best this week. I pray that you find favor in everything you lay your hands on. I pray that you enjoy grace from God. I pray that you enjoy maximum success in everything that you dabble into this week. Don't forget, Radio Afeju is on every social media platform. On Facebook, our page is Radio Afeju. On YouTube, our channel is Radio Afeju. We also live stream our audio to our website, www.afejufm.com. Again, www.afejufm.com. Don't worry. Don't forget, you can contact us for marketing purposes. You want to sponsor any of our programs, you want to support any of our shows, you want to advertise anything, you want to sell your products, and you want to bring them to us to advertise for you, contact us on 09111 000035. Once again, 09111 000035. Our studio lines are on your screen. You can always call us anytime any show is going on like this to give us your contribution, post your comments, and all of that. I thank you so much for joining this episode of Week Motivation.